How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we have another of our understanding how to build guides, going over each of the leaders in the first set to help you understand how to build it. So when you come around to building one of your favorite leaders, you have a more of an idea of which aspect to go through and what benefits you get from each of those. So we've done a fair few now. We think we've done 6. We've done all of the Vigilance ones, so blue, and we've done so far 4 command being green. We've done Emperor Palpatine. Now moving on to the next villainy side of command, and that is Grand Moff Tarkin. So if you're interested in understanding how to build each of these leaders, then feel free to keep watching and follow. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And if you click the notification bell, you get alerts to when my videos do drop as well, so you can watch them there then or at a later time that suits you. So today we're going to go over Grand Moff Tarkin, the other side of the villainy part of command, and help you understand how to build him. And remember, if you are looking for a list, and unfortunately you will not find one here, because these aren't given out lists, they're just going over and helping you understand how to build it so you can kind of have a better way to build it yourself. So let's have a look and understand how to build Grand Moff Tarkin. So this is Grand Moff Tarkin. So once again, he's a command and villainy leader. He's got decent stats. He deploys quite early at 5 resources, so as early as turn 4, maybe even a little bit earlier if you do ramp, because he is in the aspect that ramps. And he's got solid stats. Only 2 damage, but it's not too bad. But then 7 health means he's able to take hits and survive quite well. And he isn't able to be taken out straight away by things like takedown. Whereas leaders with 5 HP can kind of be taken out of that quite quickly as soon as they deploy, whereas this one he will survive and get some use out of him. And then when he's in the lead area, what you can do from him, what you gain from him being in the lead area, and kind of the benefit of this leader is by paying 1 and tapping himself, you can give an experience token to an Imperial unit. So it does have a high focus on Imperials, but then the bad side, both sides being heroism and villainy, both have beneficial traits that are more specific to those kind of aspects. And for heroism, you've got rebel, and in villainy you have imperial. So you're going to be playing imperial units anyway, and mostly the units in villainy are going to be imperial, especially in command. So you're going to be getting a good benefit. Be able to give an experience token, essentially giving a unit that you give this experience tokens, essentially give a +1 power and +1 HP to that unit. So you're given it boosts up a unit, and you can get the deck without needing to play something or have something specific trigger. You just get to give an extra 1/1 boost to an imperial unit. It does cost you 1, but then you're not playing on curve, so you're not making full use of energy to play say a 2 cost on turn 1, a 3 cost on turn 2. You have to play a little bit lower on curve, but then you get to boost those things up as well. So you can make something small really big, or just keep powering up certain things as well. And then when you do deploy, you can then on attack give an experience token to another Imperial unit. So when you deploy, so when you get to 5 resources, in 1 turn you can give 1 experience token to a unit and then deploy and give another one to it. And it does say another Imperial unit, so like we've seen with other ones, you can't give it to itself when it attacks. It says another, so it did say another, it could give it to itself, but unfortunately this has to give it to a different one. So it can deploy quite quickly, and then you can basically just keep mounting experience. If you've got a way to protect Grand Moff, playing a Sentinel unit, you can protect him, so you can keep boosting up that one as well and make things bigger. So if you go for a wide board and start boosting up everything as it plays by 1, then you're making your things a lot bigger and hard to deal with. So that is the leader itself. Pretty nice one, pretty good effects, really useful, and in a very good aspect combination as well. Now speaking of aspects, there's 4 different ways you can kind of build this one, because you start off with your aspect of command and villainy for the lead, and then of course along with your lead you get the base. And depending on what base you go for, you can have different aspect combinations. So you get access to 3 different aspects among your leader and base, and you always get either heroism or villainy, and then you get a combination of 2 other ones given whatever one's in your lead, which in this case you have command, and then depending on your base you can get another one. So you can either get a villainy command with vigilance, with another command aspect, an aggression aspect, or cunning aspect. So these kind of widen the pool for what cards you can use. So with your leader on its own, you can play villainy and command units without again aspect penalty. And what the aspect penalty basically means is that if you go to play a card that doesn't share aspects with your lead, you have to pay an extra 2 resources on top of its cost for each aspect that doesn't match. So say you went with the first one, so you have Tarkin with a Vigilance base, you'd have access to Villainy, Command, and Vigilance. So if you wanted to play a aggression unit, you'd have to pay an extra 2 because aggression is not matching on your lead. Or if you want to play a heroism aggression unit, you'd have to play an extra 4 because neither of those two match. So for each aspect that doesn't match on your leader and base, you have to pay an extra 2 resources. So that's why it is important on choosing what base goes with your leader, so you have access to a certain card pool that you'd have to pay any kind of penalties for. Now you can go double vigilance, so that does limit the amount of cards you have in the card pool, but it does give you benefit of some cards that have double aspects. So these are the 4 different combinations you can use. So this is the one we're going through. But before we do get into that, I want to go over ratios. So with this game, you can have up to 3 copies of a given card. So you can either play a full 3 copies, only 2, or just 1 single copy, and there's different benefits to each one. So we've got some examples of here, some cards that are beneficial at those ratios. So like Super Laser Technician. This is one of the free ramp cards you get in Command, and ramping is very useful because it allows you to get your resources up quicker, so you can play bigger things earlier. And Super Laser Technician is a really good one because it's just in a unit, so it allows you to deal damage, and it's when defeated at its low 1 HP, allows you to defeat it, and it's one of the few, well, one of the only ones of the free ramp cards that comes inactive and ready to use after you place it into your resources. So this is a full 3 copies because you want to see this as soon as possible, so you can get out, swing it, and basically let it die, and then basically ramp into your resources, so you can increase your resources, so you can play things that are bigger, quicker, and earlier. So this is a good example. So you want to play 3 copies of something you want to see as many as possible, see as quickly as possible, as early as possible to be able to use. Now you've got Devastator here, being the one that we've got an example of 2 of. Now this is like a huge unit, being a 10 cost unit, so you have to pay 10 resources, which can take a while to get to, even for ramping. And it does have some really solid stats at 10-10, and it has some really nice skills in it. But this is one that if you draw into early, it's not going to be very useful because you can't play it, and you have to wait a while till you can play it. So examples like this, like big units like this, you normally want to wait, like hold off from put only like 2 copies maybe in, because that way you hopefully don't see it early. And if you do see it early, you at least got everyone's back, but hopefully it prevents you from seeing too many too early, so you don't have dead cards, so you have to charge them and then not have to be able to use them later in the game. And then we have Traitorous. So this is an example of a 1 cost. So this is a unit card that is really good, but it's very situational when it could be good because it's a 5 cost, so quite costly upgrade, and it does have a nice effect where you get to take one of your opponent's 3 cost units or non-leader 3 cost units, and then just have it as your own. So it's really nice in that it's quite high costing, so you want to see it later in the game. But then it's got a really nice effect to be able to just take one of your opponent's 3 cost or less non-leader units. So that's really nice, but it's got very limited in what it can take, being 3 costs or less. So because of that, we normally want to put it like probably just a one-off tech. So one-offs are more like cards that are like tech choices, where if you see them, it's going to be great. If you don't see them, you don't care, and if you do see them, it's not going to be useful. You could always resource it. So cards like this, where it's like an idea you have, like or a tech you have, that could be useful in certain matchups. You put it in, but if you don't see it, you can always charge it if it doesn't become useful. So that's the kind of examples of those. So hopefully it lets you understand and help you out with when it comes to ratios about how many you want to include of each card. And now we'll go on to the different aspects and see what the benefits are. So we're going to start off with the double aspect because that's the one that's best to go over first. And like with each color as well, you also get 3 different bases. You get 2 skillless, like 2 vanilla bases, being ones that have 30 health, but then have no effect on them. And then you have the 1 rare base that each color has that has a little bit less health in 25, but has an epic action, being an action you can use once per game to give you a little bit of benefit for that lack of health on your base. And for a command, it's got one of the best ones, being epic action. Play a card that costs 6 or less from your hand, give it ambush for this phase. And do remember you have to pay the cost for the card, so this doesn't play out for free. You do have to pay the cost of the card, just you get the benefit of giving ambush. An ambush is a really nice skill, allowing you to attack straight away with a unit into another unit, not a base, just another unit, to allow you to control the board. So ambush is a really great keyword skill, and it's really nice to just chuck that on something just to help take control of it. You can even put on something your opponent deploys your lead. You can play something with ambush to take out the lead before it even gets to do anything on the battlefield. And also, while with playing double command, you lose access to a never aspect. You do gain access to some double aspect cards, and unfortunately, in the first set, there's only 3 double aspects, but they are very good, especially for Green's one. Green has got some really nice ones. So you do lose access to a never aspect without getting without getting penalized for it. But you do have access to these 3 cards, and as we get more sets, we'll hopefully get more double aspect cards to open the pool to making double aspect a little bit better. But for a double command, you have General Krill as a ground unit one, really nice one. You got attack pattern delta being an event, and then you have command. So every aspect has a really strong event named after the aspect himself, which is a double aspect event that costs 4 and gives you an option of using 2 of its 4 effects, and command's a really nice one, and because it's one of the 3 cards that allow you to ramp. So starting with Krell, he's a really good unit with solid stats, and he brings into an effect where every other elite unit gains the following skill, being when defeated, draw a card. So while you got Krell on the board, if one of your other units is defeated, you then draw a card, so you can keep up your resources, keep up your cards to keep up your options, and it's really nice. So it does cost 5, but then because you're in a ramp color and being ramp villainy means you have access to all 3 of the ramp cards, meaning you can always get the ramp, get this out quickly, and then get that benefit. And you also have attack pattern delta, and with Tarkin, he's quite a good one to go wide with because you can keep giving boost to all your different Imperial units. You can play out quite a few of them, and just bring them out. These little guys that are quite strong thanks to Tarkin. And attack pattern delta allows you to make you even stronger by allows you for 3 resources, give 3 units a boost. Give the first one a plus 3/3, second one plus 2/2, and third one plus 1/1 to give them a nice little boost spread across to allow you to attack a bit more and a lot stronger. And we've got command. So command is the event that I said is every aspect has one, and it's named after its own after the aspect. And you get to use 2 of any 4 of these options. You either get to give 2 experience tokens to a unit, or you get to allow a friendly unit to deal damage equal to its power to a non-unique enemy unit, so like deal damage without attacking. You get to put this into play as a resource, which is one of the main things people go for when you use command. And then the last one is return a unit from your discard pile to your hand. So it's really nice. You either get to boost something up, you get to use any 2 combination of this. You can either boost something up, you can try and take out something that's non-unique by having one of your units that potentially could be powerful, do damage equal to its power to them. You can ramp it, which is a popular choice for this one, or grab back a unit that you've lost into your discard. So it's really nice, really good one. Now, currently the potential is you don't get as many access to this because when you want to play Imperial unit are normally down to the Villainy cards. So the cards that have Villainy as one of their aspects normally have Imperial, whereas ones that don't have Villainy normally don't have Imperial. So ideally you want to be going for a double aspect for Tarkin currently, because that allows you to give more Imperial units to make use of this effect. So double aspect might not be the best way to go, but it's an option if you want to try, because it gives you access to more ramp, and you still have some very good cards in Command Villainy. And where you're ramping as well, if you can ramp up enough, you can kind of ignore, not ignore, but kind of not worry too much about the dual aspect, because you even got things like Vader as well that can kind of bring out a free cost or less Villainy unit out for free from the top 10 cards of your deck. So you've got some ways to kind of bring out other things without needing to pay aspect cost. But even then, if you're ramping and using all 3 ramp cards, you can actually get enough resources where you don't have to worry about the downside of the aspect penalty to play out things. So do bear that in mind. So now we go on to the next one. We have Vigilance. So Vigilance offers you some really nice ones, and Vigilance Villainy has some really, really nice cards that go with it as well. Like you do have your 2 vanilla bases, and you do have your rare base as well. And the rare base is epic action, allows you to give a shield to a non-leader unit. So that's pretty nice, being able to protect one of your non-leader units. So if you do use Tarkin to boost up one of your Imperial units, you can use Security Complex to give it a shield, so that way it's harder to take out. So unless they're using like instant defeat cards, you're not going to worry too much about damage on it. And also, you normally want to go like wide with Tarkin, kind of like spread out, like go quite wide with the board and give yourself a fair few units a boost, so that way they're hitting harder for what they normally do and harder to take out. And you get a fair few like cheap units in Vigilance and Vigilance and Villainy. So you got things like some good space units like Inferno 4 here, allows you to help you like scry the top 2 cards of your deck, just if you want to keep them there or if you want to get rid of them. You also have access to Scout Bike Pursuer, a nice one where the more damage it takes, the stronger it gets. You have Death Trooper, which can like finish off things and even like trigger things like your what was the card called again? Super Laser Technician, that's it. You can trigger the Super Laser Technician by dealing 2 damage to it, to KO it, because it's only got 1 health, to help ramp if your opponent decides to keep out of the ground arena so you can trigger it. You got Delmico as well, really nice one, allows you to give a bit of restore, and also puts like a tax on your opponent, making them have to pay 1 more if they want to play any of their events, which is quite cool. And then you got access to one of the best removal cards in the game, be a Super Laser Blast, because not only does it defeat all your opponent's board, it also defeats your own. But then that's really, you might be thinking, why would I defeat my own units, even if I'm defeating my opponent's units, but why do I defeat my own units? Well, sometimes if you're on the back foot and you're trying to like take back control, wiping the board clear can be a nice way to kind of like re-establish the board and kind of take it back. Because if you're like quite far behind, your opponent's got quite a big board and you haven't got much, or you haven't having trouble establishing it because they keep taking it out, Super Laser Blast is a nice way to just nuke the board and then reset, so you can start like rebuilding. You also get access to some cards that aren't Villainy in Vigilance as well, that are quite nice. So you got like Regional Governor being a good one to help like if you know your opponent's going to play a certain card, or they got a certain card in their deck that you don't want them to really drop. Regional Governors there to help you and basically just play it down, name that card, and they can't play it until while like Regional Governor's on the board. So you can drop Regional Governor, and it being an Imperial unit also means you can boost it with Tarkin as well. So it's one of the few non Villainy units that can be boosted by Tarkin. So if you want to protect yourself from by not having something played and then keep boosting Regional Governor so it can't be taken out, that's a nice way to kind of prevent that card from being played. And also it's quite bulky as well, be at 4 health. It means it will be surviving quite well against certain units. You also have like System Patrol Craft, being a nice space unit, gives you Sentinel to protect you from the space arena. Got Entrenched as well as another way to kind of either boost your units so that way you can just take control of the board, or you can put on your opponent's units so they can't attack your base if your opponent's coming at you from space. And you're not seeing many space units, you can always just put this on space units so they can't attack your base. Not only that, but you also get some really nice removal events that just instant defeat, like Takedown and Vanquish, be able to take down units with different kind of ones, like Takedown can take down anything that's got 5 or less, even a leader, while Vanquish can take out any non-leader unit no matter what its HP or anything is. So this is basically what all of Vigilance offers, and is one of the more more common combinations people use, because you get access to some really nice like units to use that you can use, like some big units as well. You get really nice units you can use from Vigilance, and Command allows you to ramp up and use them and kind of support them. So it's a really nice combination, probably one of the main ones to use, and the best one in terms of like options. But now we come to aggression. So aggression is kind of like the name suggests of the aspect. It allows you to be quite aggressive, but not in terms of like just pumping out like attacks and stuff, but more like pumping out damage, because you like got a lot of things that allow you to put damage on or allow you to attack and just basically win through damage. And the rare base you get for aggression is Tarkin Town, and it's a nice one because it allows you to deal 3 damage to a non-leader unit. So you can't just deal 3 damage outright to anything, but you can finish off something that you've damaged. So if you attack something but don't quite manage to do enough damage to take it out, Tarkin Town's there to help as long as it's not a leader. And along with that, you also get some really good Imperial units in the Villainy side of it. So you get things like Death Star Trooper, being like a really cheap one. You can play as early as turn 1 and then boost it up thanks to lead. Not the greatest health, but then it hits hard. So if your opponent is attacking into it with something, they are likely losing their unit as well. You got Admiral Ozzel as well, as a way to like play things out. And if you got the initiative and it's the first thing you use, it is action. You can play out something ready to attack before they can get the benefit of restarting one of their own things. You got First Lead and Snow Trooper, really nice one. When it attacks a damaged unit, this unit gains extra 2 damage and Overwhelm, meaning it can do any excess damage back to your opponent's base. So if your opponent's got something that's damaged, you can kind of like pressure mold this, get a bit of a boost attacking, and also pierce that damage onto the base as well. And you also get access to some really good base units as well. Like you get Imperial Interceptors, allow you to just basically play itself and pop 3 damage onto a space unit, normally take something out, or just like finishing it off. And Ruthless Raider being a very annoying one where it comes down for 6, has pretty solid stats. And just when it's played or when it's defeated, you get to do 2 damage to a unit and also to a base. I mean, you can just push damage until they even if they get rid of it, you just push more damage on. So it's always coming in and doing 4 damage to 4 damage to a base and 2 damage unit, because when it's destroyed, it's just going to do more, like add to that. So some very good Villainy units in aggression. And even outside of aggression, you still have some very good units in just the normal stuff. Like you've got Bennett Choo-Choo's being a very good 1 cost that allows you to make use of having more aggression units just when it attacks. Give raid 2 to another friendly aggression unit, so you can allow it to swing and do more damage. So very nice one, solid stats for a 1-drop. And you got Petitioner Insurgent, another one that kind of benefits having another aggression unit on board, allowing it to give itself raid 2, so put like melee attacks or more, just being like attacking more, being more aggressive, allows you to do more damage. Things like Wolf as well allow you to get around Sentinel, and also just make it so on player when attacks, your opponent can't heal, like what bases can't be healed for this phase, like preventing your opponent from healing from like aspects like Vigilance and stuff like that. And there's some very good units as well, just like push damage or push swings, and then you use like precision fire and open fire and stuff like that. So you access some really nice units in here, and if you want to be more aggressive than more controlling, then aggression is certainly a better aspect to choose. So you very controlling with Vigilance, be able to control the board, like manage it, slow roll it, and basically just out resources your opponent. You can go for Vigilance, but if you want to be very aggressive and put your opponent on the back foot and make them basically just have to deal with it while just taking a flurry of attacks, then aggression could be a good one for you. And then we've got the last one being Cunning. So Cunning is one that doesn't seem to be as popular as like an extra aspect unless the leader has it normally. Well, at least with the player base, as I think the designers find that like Cunning is a very good one. But like when it comes to like the dark side of it, the dark side of Cunning is not so much Imperial focused compared to the other ones, where it's got a fair bit, because with like Bounty Hunter, there's like a lot of more Bounty Hunters, like Boba Fett stuff, because thanks to Boba Fett being a leader, it's got a lot more Bounty Hunters and stuff like that. So you won't see too many in terms of like Imperial units there. Like you do have things like ISB Agent as like an Imperial unit, and Chimera is like a space unit, but they're more like quite cheap costing, like high costing and stuff. But you do have access to some pretty good Villainy cards as well. Like Bib Fortuna is a very nice one, where you play events for your hand for free, well for 1 less. So you can place out turn 1 and then turn 2. When you normally tap out to play like something like resupply to ramp, you can use this to potentially play out resupply stuff 1 resource left over to play something small, or even make use of well, can't really make use of your lead if you played Bib first turn and then what's it called, resupply the second one. But then it allows you to give in whenever like energy that maybe like resources to play like ISB Agent or something like that. You also have some really nice units like legendary Boba Fett here as well, like a very good unit. You can't really boost that too much, but then you also have access to No Good to be there. A very nice aspect, event allows you to lock something down for 2 turns, lock it down for that turn as long as you get to do it before it attacks, and it locks it down for the next turn as well. You also have your rare base being Jeddah City, so not the best in terms of like rare bases, because it just gives its effect is to give a non-leader unit -4 power for the phase. So it means that you can take something out without taking too much back, or just make it so your opponent can't deal too much damage to your base or a unit for that phase. You also do have some really nice non-Villainy units in command as well. Oh, sorry, Cunning as well. So you have Greedo, a very nice one, a very cheap one. Can't really get the benefit of boosted by Tarkin, but then it's a really nice one. When it's defeated, you can discard top card of your deck. And if it's not a unit, so either an upgrade or an event, you can deal 2 damage to a ground unit. You've got Pirate Starfighter here, being a very strong unit, but the only problem is you need to have something else on board to kind of make use of it, because when it's played, you have to return a friendly non-leader unit to his owner's hand, and you don't really want to be bouncing back things that have been given the experience tokens, or unless you've got something that's damaged you want to kind of put back. This is a very nice way to make use of that. It returns that as damage back to your hands, you can then replay it again fresh as a daisy. And also, one thing Cunning kind of has is a lot of good events as well. So you've got things like Shoot First, allowing you to attack with a unit, and it gets an extra +1 to its power, and also deal combat damage before the defender allows to deal it back. So normally when you attack, you exchange damage equally at the same time. But with Shoot First, you get to do damage first before they do damage to you. So if you manage to take it out, they never do damage back. But if you don't kill them, then it will do damage back after. Things like Sneak Attack, which is a nice little combo you can have with Super Laser Tech, where you can potentially do Super Sneak Attack turn 1 to play out Super Laser Tech a turn earlier, and then have it attack, and then die at the end of the phase, making sure when you go into your turn 2, you start off straight away with 4 resources, to then just go ahead and ramp again if need be. So a really nice little combo with Super Laser Technician. It's very situational because you need to have both those 2 cards together to do it. But if you do have it, you can kind of ramp a lot quicker, a lot earlier, to kind of play more things bigger, quicker with this nice little combo. You also have events like Change of Heart here, where you're allowed to take control of any non-leader unit your opponent controls, but they get it back at the end of the turn. But then you can use a really nice thing where if you've got initiative, be able to take one of your opponents, like something like a Devastator, so an Avenger, so they can't attack with it, and then you can attack with it, swing with that huge damage, and also get use of the effect of the Avenger, which is really nice because it's got one attacking, make your opponent sack off one of their non-leader units. It's a really nice card. Now you get some very good events in Cunning. The only problem is there's not too many Imperials to kind of make use of Tarkin, so it's probably not the best aspect to go with Tarkin currently, because there's not too many Imperial units, so it's best to just probably stick with the only other ones instead. So also you might be thinking there's Villainy as well, so you can get cards that are just Villainy. So there are cards you can get that aren't part of those other aspects, but just Villainy cards. And considering that they're all Imperial units because they're all Villainy, you get access to all these that could be useful as well. So things like TIE Fighter, a card you can drop turn 1 and then make use of Grand Moff Tarkin's effect to give it an experience token, make it a little bit stronger. Viper Bow Droid, a good one for like kind of checking your opponent's hand, see what they're going to play for the turn. Veers also kind of like another one that you can drop to give all your Imperial units a boost. Since you could be Imperial Focus, this could be a really nice one. And then Cell Block Guard being a nice Sentinel one you can kind of boost up as well. So all these units are very nice that you can make use of, and also even boost them as well with Grand Moff Tarkin. And you might be thinking, what do you get from the benefit of being a command villain leader? We haven't gone over that yet. Well, here we're going to go over it now. We'd like to go over the like, combination of the leader based on to kind of see what you got at the end, but see the other ones first. So in command, you get some really nice units. You get a general tag here, where when played, you give an experience token up to each of your trooper units. So there are loads of different trooper units you can get across the different aspects and stuff. So playing this out after you spread out a few of them, like so, if you play a fair few trooper units down that are also Imperial, not only are you boosting Grand Moff Tarkin, but you can play tag out to then give him a boost, and then even potentially boost tag by Tarkin as well. Season Shore Trooper being one that's one of the troopers you can kind of boost with tag, and also Imperial unit. Just the more resources you get, the stronger it gets. So once you get to 6 or more resources, it becomes it gets an extra 2 power. So if you boost it with Grand Moff Tarkin and have 6 or more resources, it's going to be quite strong. Super Laser Technician being a nice little ramp one you're going to play in every Villainy command deck because it's just a great one to just swing. It can die quite easy because it only has got 1 health and it allows you to ramp and have more resources. And then you've got some like really powerful Villainy command units, being like Darth Vader, one of the best legendaries in the game, most expensive as well. Just being able to come down and just ambush for 7 and play out more things from top 10 of your deck. That's Imperial. Well, that's Villainy. An Overwhelming Barrage, allowing you to give a boost to one of your units that goes by 2/2, and then allow it to deal its damage after the boost to your opponent's board in whatever way you like. You can spread the damage however you choose. So very powerful cards. And even in the non-Villainy cards for command, you've got some really nice ones. Like you've got Vanguard Infantry here. It's a nice little unit that's not very strong, but if it's taken out, you get to give experience tokens to a unit, which is very good. Goes in theme with Tarkin as well. You've got Colonel UN and being another Imperial unit you can boost, and then while you're playing command units, you allow to heal your base to kind of stay in it a little bit longer, give it a little bit of heal, and being an Imperial unit, you can boost up to kind of protect it as well. And also, you got Ancient Callus as well, and they're like unit you can give ambush to. And now, if you keep defeating unique units, you get to draw a card thanks to him as well. And he's also Imperial, you can kind of boost it with Tarkin. Trailers, as we've seen, a very nice one that if your opponent has like a smaller unit you want to just take control of, like I said, you've got a Sentinel Sync, you can just use Trailers to take control of it, so that way you've got it and they don't have it anymore. And you've got Resupply being one of the ever ramp event that we have for Command, because remember, Command has 3 different cards to ramp, being Command, which is a double aspect. So Resupply here is being one anything can use, as long as you've got Command as the aspect, if you don't want to get like a aspect penalty. And then you've got Super Laser Technician, so being in Command Villainy means you've got access to all 3 of them without having an aspect penalty, as long as you go double Command. So it's up to you how you want to build it, but the main ways you can build it, you can go double Command, which isn't great at the moment. You also got Vigilance, which is a very good one if you want to control. Aggression if you want to go more aggressive, and you've got Cunning, which do have a benefit, but you don't get as much use of Tarkin's effect because there's not many Imperials in Cunning to kind of make use of as much. So hopefully that has helped you out understand how to build Grand Moff Tarkin and help you understand like which kind of aspect you're going to go for, and which kind of benefits you. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in next time as we go through. I can't remember if it's going to be either Leia or Spectre next. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and catch you next one. Bye for now.